You're welcome. Hey,
You are
everybody. We are live. Woo!
I love
How,
this topic.
how's everybody doing today? I hope everybody is having a mindful Sunday and being able to just enjoy a beautiful day here in
How are you
DFW.
doing?
How am I doing? I am technically unwell. I've had technical issues all morning with my laptop and Microsoft. So I am definitely technically unwell, but super today and to share ways to look at increasing and identifying our wellness. So I'm excited. How about you? How well are you today?
I am well. I think I'm very well today. Yesterday would have been a different response,
Okay.
but yeah, today I am more well. Yesterday I was super busy and got a lot of distractions, and when
Mm-hmm.
distractions come, they may distort our thoughts if we are not careful. But today I have had time to reset that button and just be me. I have not been anything else today but me. For
Yeah,
real. I've not been a mother. I have just been me, and I am not guilty about it. Not at
that's good.
all.
That's
I have
good.
just been me today. So I am well.
I
Looking
love
towards
that.
the week with a lot of wellness anticipation.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
love that. I love the just be me. We have so many roles that we have, and hats that we wear. It is a hard thing sometimes to remember just to be us without those hats that we wear.
Yes, yes. We 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 forget, and it is, I don't know why it is so much easier that we prioritize us. We know that, oh, we have to be at work tomorrow, we have to take care of the
Hmm.
kids, we have to cook, we have to clean, we have to do this, I have to take care of this. We put ourselves last
Yeah.
consistently,
Yep.
and it can even become neglect when we continue to do that.
Hmm. Hmm.
And we may
Hmm.
think that we are physically or clinically well. We may think
Yeah.
that we are financially well, but are we really well? Are we
Hmm.
really well? And today we really want to test our wellness a little bit with
Hmm.
the wellness wheel. Are we
Yeah.
really well? Because
Yeah.
when we talk of wellness, we are not just talking that, oh, we're not in the hospital. It means we are well. We are not laying in
Hmm.
bed sick with the flu. That means we are well. Are we
Hmm.
holistically well? Are we
Hmm.
balanced in every area? Because
Hmm.
one will affect the other.
Hmm. 1,000%. And I think in remembering that holistic wellness, that it's all correlated, right? We can't have one without the other. And so when we are more mindful and we recognize, because a lot of times we don't even know what wellness looks like in a sense.
Oh,
We think we're doing well. We're like, yeah, I got it. And it's like, but how about this? Oh,
mm-hmm,
well, this part is good. Yeah, but we're neglecting other pieces. So I think that's super important to remember and to
mm-hmm,
be mindful of.
mm-hmm. And sometimes somebody can catch us on it like, you look tired,
Hmm.
you look sick. Then you may catch yourself and be like,
Hmm.
let me think about what this person is saying.
Hmm.
Or sometimes it is just you feeling like you've just been going, going, going.
Hmm.
I know when I am unwell, especially when I'm overwhelmed. I hate using that word overwhelmed sometimes. I
Yeah.
want to say busy, because when you say
Hmm.
overwhelmed, your brain
Yeah.
catches it, then you start feeling
Yep.
overwhelmed. I want to say,
Hmm.
especially when I'm busy and being a
Hmm.
not productive and not producing me,
Yeah.
yes, I get tired and I get a headache.
Hmm.
So each time I have a headache,
Hmm.
are the things I ask myself, when last did I eat? Has it been more than 4 5 hours? Or did I sleep well?
Yeah.
or did I rest? If all those three things, the answers are yes,
Hmm.
then I want to think, why do I have a headache?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think those are super important, questions to ask yourself. It's those eternal questions like, are you checking in with yourself?
Yeah.
What's missing? And, when we get hungry, we get hangry, right? We get anxious, we're
Hungry.
irritable, and we can get so busy, we're like, oh, wait, I ate 5 hours ago. No wonder your body is losing it. It's like, girl, if you don't feed me, we are not going to be good. We're not friends right now.
Mm-mm.
Hmm.
Needs to change the oil. Need to add
Yes,
some oil. Need to
yes,
put some gas.
yes,
Wanna keep going. Check in with yourself.
yes,
Check in with
absolutely,
yourself. Don't
absolutely,
just adding to your plate. Check in with yourself. And
absolutely,
oh Lord, the more I
absolutely.
study wellness, Miss Angela, the more I talk about wellness, the more I realize that people just think wellness is eat right and hit the gym.
Hmm. Hmm.
That is
No,
not all the
nope,
wellness. Are
nope.
you sleeping well?
Yep.
Are your thoughts aligning with your purpose?
Hmm.
Are you in control?
Hmm.
Are you calm? All
Hmm.
those are wellness.
Hmm.
Wellness. And I'm glad that sometimes when you have that healthy environment and you're not able to check yourself, they can check you sometimes. And when somebody is checking you from a place of love,
Yes.
please accept it.
Please accept it. Yes, we can get defensive, be like, I got this. As a counselor, I'm an LPC counselor and supervisor, and I tell my associates all the time, what's our self care contract? Are we being well? And, with that, it's a requirement for me to do the same. I can't be hypocritical. I can't tell them, hey, I think it's a good idea to do this and I'm over here not doing the same thing, right? So I think in my field, and as a counselor and help and working with people to help them through life and their struggles, if I'm not doing the same, if I'm not walking the walk, I lose credibility,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's hypocritical. And
Mm-hmm.
that goes against not only, my moral compass, the ethical compass too. So I think it's important, that we are checking in with ourselves and allowing that um healthy, effective, constructive criticism from the people that care about us because it's so important.
I'm glad that you said so because there have been moments where you know how you see people or you see your patients and you can tell immediately. And even when they don't bring it up, sometimes you're just like, girl, what's going on? Like,
Yeah.
talk to me, what's going on? I believe that sometimes they can see us in that light as well.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
sometimes they can see us in that
Yep.
light as well. Like,
And they'll
you
call us out too.
you okay? Because they see something missing.
Yeah,
So, if you constantly check in with yourself, you realize those moments where you're not yourself
yeah, yeah,
or you're not your whole self. And it's
yeah,
just unfair
yeah,
not to
mhm,
present yourself to give that patient. They have scheduled that time with you, they have paid for
yeah,
that service. It is
yeah,
unfair that they do not get what they need to get from you because you're not
yeah,
going to be able to give 100% if you are not 100%.
1,000%. Yes, I
Check-ins
agree.
are important.
Mhm.
Check-ins are important. Check-ins,
Yeah.
check-ins are very important.
One of the things that I'm so excited about that we're going to get into, and because Dr. Mercy and we do our best to practice what we preach, and we're not trying to be hypocritical. So we're going to share our wellness will, but we also have a guest that's going to come on first, and he volunteered to do this and do a wellness will and allow us the permission to share it with you guys and give you an example. There's a million wellness wills, but we just did this will of well being. And we want to share it to give an example on what that looks like and how you can implement and create one for yourself. So
I think
I'm
he's
super
here.
excited. Is he
I
here?
think he's here. Yes. Yes.
Oh, okay. I love that. And what we're going to do, we're going to bring him on with his permission again, because we're big about consent around here, is we're going to share his will, excuse me. We're going to allow him to kind of explain where he's at, and we'll talk about those differences and how to gain closer behaviors and things to get to the ideal where you want in
Yes.
that wellness wheel. And all our wellness wheels are out of 10. We made it easy. So 0 to 10. So after our guest comes on and talks to us for a little while, then me and Dr. Mercy are going to share ours too, because we're being honest and transparent here
You
about
call me
ours and what
Mercy.
we want to do.
Can you call me Mercy?
Oh, I know. I'm so proud of her, y'all. I've known Mercy for a while. When I met her, she was a nurse in the hospital, and she's doctor. And all I want to say is doctor, doctor, doctor. And she's like, I'm Mercy. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm
I'm not.
so proud of her. So Mercy, who I adore, but we do want to make sure she takes her kudos and pats on the back because she deserves it, and she's worked really hard to get there. So,
Hmm.
well, without further ado, Mercy, you want to let Michael in, and we want to,
Hey.
Hi,
hey,
hello. How you ladies doing?
Welcome.
Thanks for having
Excited
me.
to have you, Michael.
It's nice to meet you.
Yes. So,
love it. It's so good to have you. I see you're wearing a UTA shirt representing UTA. Is that your
Yes.
school?
Yeah, it's my university. It's a good accomplishment. I've when I got accepted to UTA, and it's very close to
oh,
home, so I like it.
I love that.
I
Well,
know.
we thank you so much for not ignoring the call when was asked to volunteer, and we really appreciate you coming on. We know it's not always easy to be transparent, but what we wanted to talk to you about is your wellness will and get your perspective on those things and your scores on them and talk a little more. And so, in each category, basically in this wellness wheel, and we'll put it up for you guys to see, but there's different areas. There's physical, mental, emotional, relational, recreational, environmental, spiritual, and financial. And each of those, there was a bunch of questions that were asked, and kind of looking at that, say, hey, where do you align 0 to 10? And of course, 10 being ideal, 10 being the best, but where do you align? And so, one of those things that I think are super important is us to take an assessment of those things and
Mhm.
see where we fall. So, Michael, can you tell us as you were taking it, were you honest with the questions? And what do you think of your results?
Yeah, I was honest with it. I didn't. I found it a little interesting. A lot of my results were I kind of imagined they would be that, especially physical. I'm on a really big weight loss journey over the years. So far, I've lost over 160 pounds. So physical is kind of really, really good for me.
Congratulations.
Wow,
Thank you.
congratulations.
Thank you so much. And also mental, especially being my last year in college, getting really good grades, and also recently getting a therapist. That has really helped me kind of broaden my horizons of certain things and get a better understanding of my own mental health and then everybody's like mental health around me and just learning the spectrum about it. So I would say that's kind of spot on for me. And the emotional part, that one was a little low, a little surprising, but I can understand it only kind of because I'm not super focused on emotional right now. I'm kind of just trying to get to where I think my life needs to be for my age. So just kind of more of on school, financial,
I'm glad
mental.
you said that. I'm guilty. I'm super focused on emotions.
so so I can see where I have a little bit less time for emotional, but
Hmm.
I still do put emotional I guess emotional well-being or emotional intelligence is still higher on my list. It was just kind of interesting to see it was kind of low on that one, but I was being honest, so it made sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
Would
you for being
would you
honest.
share with us, Michael, your if you remember the score when you talk about that emotional side being low and the other scores you got?
Yeah, I believe my emotional was 5 or 4,
Hmm.
um, and then my also low was spiritual. Like, so I'm not very spiritual, and I put that towards religion. I grew up in the church and all that, but for my life right now, I am not very spiritual, especially towards religion.
Yeah.
Um, I do like environmental, kind of like I see environmental as, you see something on the ground near your place or near the park, pick it up, throw in the trash,
Yeah.
clean up near you outside. There's no point to litter. There's plenty of trash cans around everybody. So
Yeah.
I would say really big on environmental. But spirituals, that's I know that was low.
Yeah.
So I wasn't. There's no surprise in that one. But
Okay.
recreational too. That they all it all kind of made sense
You
because
Yeah.
of what
scored
I was
very
big on.
high on physical.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. I
Yeah.
If I can show you my I don't have it up, but I work out. I'm at the gym 4 days a week, and every day I'm at 10 to 20,000 steps. So it's just it's just really a
Take me with
big goal for
you.
me.
Right.
Take me with you. I can't remember the last time I saw the gym.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh,
That's
guilty.
amazing.
That's
That's
amazing.
amazing. Yeah.
Keep thinking we don't have time to the gym. No, we just don't want to create the time. If
Yeah.
there is something that we want to do, we can create that time. It doesn't have to be a gym, of course, but guilty. So
Yeah.
I'm sure many people already know that I didn't do well in that aspect.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I think it's important too, those things Michael said that physical, mental, those are the higher ones and right at 10 and those are the ones that the focus is on right now. And I
Mhm.
know he said the spiritual is the lower one of 5 or 4, somewhere around there. But we got to think, are we interested in making that a 10? Where he's kind of saying that's not really in my wheelhouse right now. It's not necessarily affecting me. So maybe that's not a goal to increase at this time in his life where he has a little bit more balance to wellness, but that piece is not a journey for him right now. And that's okay. So it's not that it's so low and he's upset about it being low. It's where he expected it, the where he said the mental part where he was like, it was a little lower than I thought.
Mhm.
Maybe that's some work to say, well, how do I get a little bit higher? So, Michael, if you had to think about your emotional being a 4 or 5 out of 10, where would you want it to be?
I would say I would like it to be kind of on the 8 or 10. I would say I kind of see it as failing right now, just if I'm looking at like letter grades. I would
Mm-hmm.
want it to be passing, only because emotional, especially as a man, especially in today's society with all like the misogynistic and everything like that, I feel like men lack that emotional intelligence, and it reflects on you. So I'm very open about just I'm an emotional person. Everybody can tell you I'm not gonna hide my feelings. If it's time to cry, it's cry. If it's time to be mad, I'll be mad. But when I look at, I don't have children, but when I look at my nephews and I see them, and I'm saying that I'm not being understanding, or if I'm not being emotionally understanding to them, I see it. I see them, get upset or sad, and I just put myself in the shoes when I was the kid, when I was their age. I want people to understand me, even though I'm 7 years old, and life right now is school for school, and elementary school, that's still a lot for them. So I kind of want to be better in that scenario, for myself and just for the people around me, like so they can look up to me, be like, oh, Michael was always the one, to tell me that it's okay to cry, it's okay to be mad or upset, it's okay to talk to somebody about it.
Right. So even though Michael, you scored low on the emotional part, it doesn't mean that as a man you do not recognize the fact that because some men are like, no, we do not have to be emotional. It's a weakness to even show your emotions. You always have to be strong. You always so it's not because you're that kind of a man. It's just that at this place in your life, your emotions or emotional well-being is not your priority at this time.
Yeah, I can see that.
Mm.
Well, I think too, when we look at that, Michael, it's saying, what are some ways that we increase that? Because I know you value it, and it's not that it's not a value. Maybe sometimes that physical and mental are going so hard, and those pieces miss. So, one of the things, give some suggestions I would like to, and I let Mercy pop in too, on here's ways to increase emotional intelligence and awareness. It is identifying the emotion, like, oh, I'm angry. Well, are you really angry, or is the anger reacting? Maybe I'm really feeling hurt or betrayed and I'm reacting in anger. So being able to identify that emotion and then sitting with it and say, now what do I want to do with it, right? I feel betrayed about this situation. Do I want to communicate that? Do I
Right.
want to sit with it? You're someone who works out. Do I want to go to the gym and run it off, right? What are those things? And then being able to communicate that. So being able to say, hey, Mercy, when this happened, I felt betrayed. And I want to talk about it so that we can work on a way not to continue to create this
Mm,
struggle or this situation. And so getting that increase of emotional awareness, intelligence, those things, identifying it and being able to sit with it and then decide what we want to do with it in a healthy way, that's a great way to start to bridge that gap for you and the emotional wellness for life.
yeah.
Yeah, I I can definitely see that. Sometimes, well, one thing I've been learning recently, especially with therapy and just I guess overall just maturity, is if I'm upset, I will think about why I'm upset, and then I'll express to my partner that, hey, right now I'm a little upset. It's not because of anything you did. It's because I tried to get something to eat and they messed up my order. Like they forgot my ranch, so I'm not trying to be mad at you. So just in case if you feel mad at you, it's not you, it's somebody else. I'm just give me like 5 minutes to process. So I have been implementing
Mhm.
that. So I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. Mercy, you want to pop in on kind of what your thoughts are, like increasing that emotional wellness gap and some strategies or tips?
For me, what has helped me, Michael, is being intentional when I go to bed at night and just kind of see how the day went. Am I satisfied with the day? Especially interacting with people. Sometimes you just catch yourself feeling low. I really want to ask myself, why am I feeling low right now? Because for me, what I have realized is I am not able to process or change my emotions
Mm,
without fixing my thoughts, without consulting with my, like, why am
okay.
I feeling this way? Then I start thinking, what am I thinking? What came to my mind that made
Yeah.
me feel what I'm feeling? Or even just emotionally empty. Something should have provoked it. So I just try to align myself with that before I go to bed. How was my day? How did I treat people? How do I
Mm,
feel? Am I just tired? Am I just drained? How do I revamp myself? Or what did I give? Did I give out so much and took in so little? How do I fill my own cup? And that has kept me very, very emotionally stable because it is me being mindful of who am I and who am I to others. So first thing again in the morning as I go to bed. And that means that I am able to even accept that today was low, today was not energized, today was draining. I am also able to accept that I could have done something about it. Maybe somebody triggered that emotion. I could have blocked it. I could have received it and in another way and still
mhm,
address it in another way. So I am mindful that tomorrow I'm still going to face that situation. And if I do, this is how I will handle it so that my emotions don't betray me because I still
mhm.
want to be emotionally healthy.
Yeah.
And when I wake up in the morning, after praying or whatever, I tell myself this is how today is going to go emotionally. So
Mm,
during periods of the day when I'm going away from what I had outlined for that day, I catch myself like, stay focused, emotionally well. I catch it myself
mhm,
several times because Before that day started, I had already programmed my mind. This is how emotionally I will
Mhm.
handle today.
Mhm.
So I
Yeah.
find myself staying sane in multiple, even frustrating occasions. Staff called in, I have to deal with their patients, I have to deal with my patient. I still
Mhm.
remember, our brain keep those things and remind
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
I have chosen before the day even started that I will stay emotionally stable. So some things can come on us harder, some other unforeseen and uncertainties can come, even when it matches your emotions, even when it drags you down, you still have that space to remember that. Let me be sane. Let me think through this and not worry through this, because it's a difference.
Yeah.
If you can think through and not just worry and be lost in it, then your emotions can still be in check. It's not that it will not be disrupted because of the magnitude of what may happen, but you can still stay aligned and be
Mhm.
checked when you're going through that process. It's just me being mindful. Who do I want to be today? Mm.
Yeah. I love that. So, Michael, can I ask you, when you look at the wellness will yours overall, outside of the emotional, are any of the ones that you're higher at, do you want to take lower? Do you feel like you can maintain that level that you have? Or are there ones that you want to explore that maybe you are like, no, I'm good here, but I want to do something different?
Oh, I'm glad you asked that question, Mikey. I know that's for you, but I'm so glad I didn't think about that. I'm glad you brought
Hmm.
that up, because it
Yeah,
doesn't mean that because I am at a 10, I want to stay plateaued there.
absolutely.
Sometimes it's
Absolutely.
so stressful keeping that 10. So
Yeah, yeah,
I'm glad you brought that up. I didn't
yeah,
think about it like that.
yeah.
Yeah. So not really. I think that for the ones that are high, I think that I can even go a little further in that. I have plans after my last year to get my master's degree, and then with the just to kind of elaborate more on just to learn more. I just want to learn more. Even in school, I'm taking on more challenges like doing research papers, being a part of different research groups, just learning everything that I'm able to. And of the physical part, I want to start being able to run like marathons and 5Ks and Spartan
Yeah.
races. So I feel like I'm able to do a little more, but
Okay.
being a full time student and a full time, and working full time, it is a lot. So I think
Hmm.
that once I'm able to not have that full time student on my shoulders and just kind of focus on one career goal, I'll be able to have my other ones get higher as well.
Yeah.
But I can also kind of multitask and
Hmm.
do a little more. I can take your advice in the morning or at night. Kind of
Mhm.
reflect on my day and
Hmm.
see how, like, if I was didn't talk to enough people, if I was
Hmm.
nice or mean to people, and try to
Hmm.
reflect on that.
Yeah.
But I think it's very manageable to keep them where they're at and to go a little further too.
So even
Yeah.
though your physical wellness shows that you are at a 10, you do not feel pressure keeping it at a
Hmm.
10. You're
Exactly.
comfortable and still very excited keeping it at a 10 and even further.
Exactly.
Yep,
Yeah.
I love the goals. It's a challenge and I
Yeah.
like it. So
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. I
Good.
love that.
I love that.
Yeah, that's amazing. And you were right. We do want to reevaluate. And I think something you said is super important in the aspect of when I finish school, like that mental. I'm going hard in the mental area and researching, doing that. But even when I finish school, doesn't mean I'll go less. It means it'll divert. So there'll be other interests, other things to kind of fill that mental area. And then sometimes just take a little break to say, okay, now what do I want to focus on? Maybe it's
yeah,
learning more about that career once I get that in that role. But when you're at that kind of high level, it is saying, I can maintain this without taking away other things and without it being a problem. When it
Mhm.
becomes a problem, then that's where we reevaluate. Is this 10 still healthy for us, right? Maybe we need a 9.5, and that's where we reevaluate. But it sounds like you understand holistically that wellness, well, where your areas may be a little lower and where you're okay with them being low and where you want to address those. So Kudos to you for just working on yourself to be more well rounded and holistically well.
Right,
Thank
Michael.
you.
And somebody's congratulating you in the comments. They say
Yes,
congratulations, Michael.
yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for that. And can we put up one more time, if you don't mind, Michael, putting up your wellness wheel again, so that you can look at? And for some of the people, like I know Rebecca, want to look at just so things so you can see that's kind of how it looks. And
Mm-hmm.
we again evaluate that on a 0 to 10. Everyone's will can be different. Maybe yours doesn't have recreational. Maybe that's not your thing. That's okay. Maybe finances aren't your thing currently. Doesn't mean it can't be later. So there's no right or wrong. This is, again, a general one we all use, Michael, me, and Mercy, just to kind of give you an idea on what that looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Michael. Is there any last kind of words or anything you want to say to the audience or us about the wellness wheel for you or anything?
Um, I, I think it was a positive experience. I don't really have much to say. I would just say, just believe in yourself and keep going. That's pretty much that's all I'd have to say.
Yes.
Love it.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. We're definitely honored that you're able to spend a little time with us on Sunday, and we appreciate you. And keep being well and keep getting your goals and killing them.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you both.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Michael.
Thank you.
All
Check
right.
you later. Bye bye for
Have a
now.
great day.
Have you too. Bye.
That was awesome, Mercy. I mean,
Awesome.
uh,
I'm really happy that he doesn't feel pressured about
yeah,
hitting the 10, meaning that that is something he's comfortable with. Because sometimes,
exactly.
even though it shows that we are well up there, it's
Yeah,
not easy maintaining that level of wellness. And when it's
yeah,
not easy to maintain a certain kind of level of wellness, then it means that it will show in another area.
exactly.
The stress that will come with it will show in another area. So that
Exactly.
was
Yeah,
good.
that
That
was a wonderful one.
yeah.
Okay. So now, y'all, as we are just keeping going, we're going to start to be a little bit transparent, a lot of transparent, and kind of share ours. So, Mercy, you want to go first?
Yeah.
Okay.
Am I well? Let's see.
Okay.
Um, I did good spiritually and
Okay.
emotionally,
Okay.
and it's not always been like that. I'm going to be transparent. I have
Yeah.
had to intentionally
Mm-hmm.
work towards being good spiritually
Mm-hmm.
and emotionally. And
Mm-hmm.
spiritually doesn't just mean religion or church. It just being me, being at one with myself, and knowing that there's that higher being who is there that I can be like, okay, help me stay sane, see me through this. Even emotionally, I've not always been
Mm-hmm.
well emotionally. I had to intentionally say, I need to represent what I preach, especially with my patients. Many of them seek help because they are emotionally unwell. And I cannot help if I am emotionally unwell as well. So I had to be consistent and intentional that I must be emotionally well to be at a space where if my emotional cup is full, I can sip it out, I can pour it out and still know how to fill it back up without it being depleted because I am doing mental health.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not emotionally well, then I don't know how I want to get people to be emotionally well. And that went also together hand in hand with my mental wellness. I need to say, you ready? Okay, march on. And relational wellness is something that it showed a score high. If this was last month or last year, it would not have been this high. I have been intentional about keeping boundaries, relational boundaries. I have been intentional about keeping my environment, my relations environment to where and what I want it to be. I have been intentional with spending good time with family and friends. and knowing that, okay, what can we draw from each other? So relational has been good. It has been gradually cultivated to that level. Has not always been like that. Recreational is something I'm working on. I didn't score a lot on that side.
Mhm.
And environmental as well. It's something I'm
Mhm.
still working on. And taking this quiz, I thought I was doing fine on that, to be honest. But being honest with the answering the questions made me feel like, okay, I need to put more effort there. And I would like to put effort there on environmental, taking care of
Yeah.
our environmental,
Mhm.
eco-friendly environment,
Mhm.
making sure that we are living, breathing good air and things like that. I would like to do that.
Mhm.
Uh,
Well, actually, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to jump in real quick, Mercy, because environmental, this is a plug for us. We are actually coming up with a community connection
yeah,
conference that
yeah,
does have to do with our environment because it deals with our community. So
community.
we are going to be a little more intentional with that, and that's coming up next year. Stay tuned for more of that. But
Why?
that is the way. Yeah. Shameless plug, y'all. Got to.
Yeah. So I'm glad you said that. So it
Mhm.
means that we are intentionally working towards something. I like that.
Exactly.
I like
Exactly.
that. So
Exactly.
financial wellness, I don't know. I'm fine, but there's still room for growth.
Yeah. Mhm.
There is still room for growth. I'm fine where I am, but there is still room for growth.
Yeah.
Physical
Mhm.
wellness is where I,
It's the lowest. Yeah.
yeah. And I'm not gonna say, oh, it's because I work too much. Oh, I don't have time. Oh, I am a mother. I am an entrepreneur. I am a wife. I am a mother. No, 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 no. It's guilty. I have not made
Yeah.
time for physical
We
wellness.
haven't prioritized that. Yep.
Right. And a lot
That's
of
my
people,
lowest too. Mhm.
yeah, a lot of people will say, oh,
Yeah.
you don't need to be physically well. I need to be
We
physically
need it.
well.
Yeah.
People think physical wellness is if you're small in size, you don't need to
Mhm.
exercise.
Yeah.
That's a lie.
That's
It's
not true.
showing
Mhm.
in my blood. It may
Yeah.
not be, the lack of
Yeah.
exercise may not be showing in my body, but it's
Mhm.
showing in my blood. So I have to watch
Absolutely.
those numbers. I may be petite, I may be
Yeah.
small,
Mhm.
have to watch those numbers. So yes,
Yes.
that is something definitely that. And
Yeah.
physical wellness just does not just mean that you're trying to lose weight. That's what many people.
Absolutely.
That's what many people.
Absolutely.
So in my own journey that I plan after taking this quiz, I I would love to improve on my physical wellness,
Mhm.
not to lose weight, but to be
Mhm.
physically well.
Mhm.
There are a lot of
Mhm.
things going on when you're not physically well.
Yeah.
High cholesterol, high
Yep.
sugar, just a lot of things. And
Yep.
even the energy, you sometimes you don't know how to
Yes.
re-energize if you're not physically
Yeah.
well. Take a walk in the
Mhm.
park for even an hour and see how you have secreted some serotonin, you have
Exactly.
you have released some dopamine,
Yes.
and how it makes your mood feel elevated and you like that.
Yes.
So we need to do that often. So
Yes.
that's really
I
something.
love that. Thank you, Mercy. I mean,
Yep.
what a great will. And one of the things that is so important to Mercy and I is honesty and being transparent with you. We're not doing this podcast to sugarcoat or, be out here just talking. We truly love people and want to educate and want to hang out with y'all. But we're
Yes.
going to be honest, and honesty doesn't always feel good for ourselves or for others. But I
Mhm.
think it's important to, again, create community. We're creating community here. We really are. So that plays into that
I mean,
environmental factor too.
we are perfect. We are not.
Mhm.
We
Yeah.
need your help. Get
Yeah.
each other. We-
Help keep us accountable, y'all. Because,
Hold us accountable.
yeah.
Yes, please.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I love that.
Perfect. We are
Yeah.
far from. Let's do this journey together, guys.
Yes. Yes. I love that.
Mm.
Well, awesome. Thank you, Mercy. I appreciate that.
It was asking some intimate questions.
It
And
was. Yeah, it this one I just Googled it. I used a lot of different ones with my clients, but this one was something where we could do it and then get this kind of result, and that's what I wanted to make sure we can share with you guys.
Mhm.
So it's the wheel of well-being. You know what happens though, once you go through it, they're going to be sending you a bunch of emails. Just know I'm giving you the information. They
Mhm.
will get you emails and emails about their product or service. I
Right.
wasn't interested in that and not knocking it. I wasn't interested. I just wanted this for this example.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah,
the goal for this is just that we are approaching wellness to interconnect the different dimensions of wellness.
absolutely. We want to identify.
Right, you may not be physically well, but know that it will affect other areas of your life in the long run, where wellness is not just the absence of illness, but the balance and harmony in different aspects of your life. So each
1000%.
dimension here will be reflected one
Yes.
way or another. Like you just saw, I am not physically well.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Hmm.
If I do not do something about it, it will affect other areas of my life. Because if I
Absolutely.
develop an illness because I am immobile, or I'm not exercising, or I'm not keeping well fit physically, it's going to affect my emotional health. It's going to affect my financial health because
Yes.
we need money to take care of those illness. So it's going
Yeah.
to affect a lot of things.
Yeah.
That is the goal while we are doing this. You ready for your
Absolutely.
wellness
I'm
result?
ready, y'all. We're about to get into I'm ready. And remember there's no comparison here. I know
No.
don't compare your wellness to anyone else's because
Well,
you're
I'm
unique.
comparing my physical wellness with yours, though.
I know that yeah. Mine's gonna be different. We're unique, but don't compare. Remember, we all have our own set of fingerprints, right? So it's you against you, not anybody
It's,
else.
oh, I'm glad you say that. It's you against you. Have you ever
Yes.
sat behind and be like, oh no, I can be better than what I just portrayed. Not
Yeah.
comparing to anybody, but you
Absolutely.
against you. I'm glad you said
All day, honey. Yeah.
yes.
Well,
Yes.
so
Talk
here's
about
mine.
your
I put my numbers up there because of how my mind works. I don't want to count the dots. Michael and Mercy were a little better with that, but I had to put numbers, y'all. So bear with me. But I'll start with physical because that's kind of where Mercy was talking about, and I want to piggyback on what she said because mine is a 5 and different. Like she said, her numbers in blood, whereas and she's petite, right? As the other side, I'm bigger. My whole family's bigger. But all my numbers are great, right? My labs have always been great. My blood pressure, cholesterol, all that. But for me, what I noticed, and this is what I want to say, because Mercy brought that up and I wanted to piggyback, is that fatigue and that tiredness. I start to know my energy is dipping a little different. I'm not as strong as I am. I joke all the time that I have weak, wrist because I don't like to do stuff. I have sons and my husband. I'm like, I can't pick up this box, but I can pick up a box, y'all. But I noticed that. I noticed my energy and I noticed that I'm not as strong in those aspects. And then I noticed how my body feels. I
yeah.
was just on vacation and I was walking and walking and walking, and normally I'm fine, but my knees started hurting. So when you talk about physical, I'm like, I need to get back in it. And I'm more of a seasonal girl. So let me explain. I'm a swimmer. I will swim all
Yeah.
day, every day. And
Uh-huh.
so in the summer, I swim a lot because my pool's warm, but it's cold now. So I
Hmm.
find myself being like, oh, I can't swim. So I don't
So
feel like going to the gym or I don't feel like walking.
is that an area where you would like to adjust?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. I
Wow.
need yeah. And I want to do better, not in the aspect. I'm not necessarily a gym girl. I don't mind it. But when I talk about physical, it's movement. Move your body.
Yeah.
I love to dance.
Oh yeah.
I don't like necessarily walking in nature because I don't like bugs. But there's other things. I can walk indoors. I will walk that mall though, right? We make priorities for what we want. I want to go buy a purse. I'm gonna walk that mall and I'm gonna be in there for hours, right? So those ideas. So for me, physical is not again that blood work, but more so those other things, that energy, the lethargy. the knowing that strength and feeling the aches and pains. So when you guys look at physical, look at that holistically too. It's not just one thing, like Mercy said. Mental, I'm a seven, and I put a seven as far as for me, I'm very good with thoughts and things and not necessarily spiraling in thoughts. But one of the things for mental, I'm getting ready to start a training. So my mental went in the direction of learning more. I am ABD, at all but dissertation in my PhD, and I've been like that for a while because I just don't want to do it. But when I was doing it, my mental was very high because I was researching, I was doing some of those things, kind of like our last
I
guest,
want to
Michael, thought.
say this though, Miss Angela. I'm
Hmm.
surprised, man. I was expecting
Hmm.
your mental to be 10, not 7.
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
why. I was
It's
expecting your mental to be 10.
no, it's not. I know. And the reason is because I intentionally became less involved in some of those mental things
Right.
because it was at a 10, but it was distressing, like we talked about with our guest Michael. It
Mm-hmm.
was too much. So my wellness looks more of a scaled back because I had to because I was doing too much.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mm,
Mhm. So as
okay.
Mercy said, it was a 10. Yeah, normally, but I intentionally did things and not where at my seven right now, I'm okay with that. I'm getting ready to start a
Right.
specialized training and I'm going to need that energy and thought process for that. So it'll be a 10, but I had to redirect some things. So here's where Mercy kind of talked about the 10 and not struggling. But for me, it was a struggle. Everything was a
Oh,
10.
yes.
Everything. I was swimming every day. I was reading. I was working.
I
All
know
those
you.
things.
I'm like,
Uh-huh.
so seven.
Uh-huh.
No.
Yep. But that's why. And so this is where we look at wellness, and you'll look at all my areas are about a average between 5 and 7. Spiritual's always really high. That's just for me. And when I look at spiritual, it's a 9. It's not just my relationship with God or Buddha or whatever you guys believe. For me, it's my relationship with God and then the earth and spirituality
Yeah.
entails because we are a part of each other no matter what. So
Absolutely.
for me, that spirituality is so important at the core as a human experience. So that's where when we start to define it, that's why I say our fingerprints are different. It will look different for you, and that's okay. Your spirituality may be more associated with earth only, and you wanting to be in nature and things. That's okay. There's no right or wrong in comparison. It's just understanding, back to our topic, identifying your wellness and then scaling that to say, am I living up to that?
Mm,
Right. So that's the only place I don't ever intentionally slow down at. That's where I remain constant. And I
mhm.
stay at usually a 9, as in um, that's where I always want to stay, no matter what my life looks like. Chaos, sadness, happiness. I always want to stay at a 9 because that's what keeps me grounded.
Grounded.
Um, and
Mm,
so that's my spirituality area. My recreational
yeah.
was a 5 too, and not necessarily, again, back to those things as I am very similar. I will travel, I will get out, I'm out in these streets, y'all.
It's also looking at it now, I'm like, why is it a 5, Miss Angela?
Hmm. Well, again, I intentionally scaled back because I was traveling every month,
Yep.
right?
Huh?
And that bleeded into my financial. And you look at financial, I'm a six.
I'm like, okay, can we? Nope, I'll not be around. I'm like, where you going again? I said, where you going again?
Yep,
I said,
yep,
with who? She said, by myself.
yep, yep. She's so right. And so, what was happening though, as much as I value leisure in that time, again, it bled into financial. It bled into physical because now I'm tired and then I'm rushing back. And then when I get back, work is more piled because I had to
Yeah,
rearrange people
yeah,
hey, I'm out this week. I'm out this week. And now it's piling up. So I had to be intentional about reevaluating my wellness will, and this is the product of that. So when you look at those relational and those things, those aren't areas that are lower because it's a problem. It's lower because my tens were a problem. I was doing everything on 10. if
Yes.
that makes sense. So
Yes.
that's why I say it's a little different. So when you create your will and you look at that, it's important to say, what is the reality and what is realistic for you, right? It doesn't mean I didn't have a great time traveling, doing the things. It means that I have to be realistic on where life is. So your wills ebb and flow, right? So be mindful of that as we transition. So again, where you see mine, that emotional seven, that relational seven, my family and friends are very important, but I'm more important, right? So when I looked at giving tens to everybody and everywhere, I had to say, oh, sit down now, ma'am, you're doing too much. Try it
Environmental,
again and reevaluate.
environmental is a six.
Hmm.
Your environmental.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I was somebody, I like to volunteer. I used to, we would give things to the homeless, and I would adopt a family for Christmas.
You just
All those
going.
things are good. I'm not saying they're negative things. What I am saying is I was doing everything at a 10. And sometimes for some people like me, everything at a 10 isn't as beneficial for me. I
Mm,
burn out.
I would too. If I don't
Hmm.
catch myself, I will burn out.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because how long can you be at a 10 all round?
Exactly. Exactly. So that's for me where it keeps me mindful. And so I shut down business wise between the mid December to about January to reflect. And on my reflection, this is where my wellness was kind of, but on my reflection, that's what it'll be. How much time were you focused on self? How many tens did you give? And did you give 10 to you first?
Yeah.
And where do we need to cut back a little? And 10 isn't good or bad. Your 10 may be where this is where I want to be, right?
Yeah.
I like to be between 7 and 8 in general, except for spirituality. I always at a 9, no matter what. And that's what you see in my will. If you look at wills, and I've done this many times, of course, I teach this all the time. But if
Right.
you look at my wills from 2 years ago, you'll see my spirituality in 9, even if it's not this particular quiz, no matter what, because that's something that always keeps me grounded in the chaos.
Right. Right. Let me address some comments. Christina said,
Yeah.
thank you all for watching, please. Thank you all. We
Thank you all.
appreciate all the engagements, the comments, and everything.
Hmm.
I've been feeling unbalanced lately, and I think she went further to say, no, someone else say, is there a specific part of the wellness wheel that I should be excited to work on?
Hmm.
I'm gonna say that will that will depend on your reflections of your answers. Are you
Absolutely.
okay with your answers? Answer the wellness way honestly. Then, when your results come up, you want to see what parts are you satisfied? What parts are you
Absolutely.
wanting to work on? Then,
Absolutely.
how do you want to work on that part? So it's not just,
Hmm.
oh, I want to work on this. Figure also out how you want to work on that part. Another person.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. It's so
I agree
important
with that.
to look at the wellness wheel from all angles.
Hmm. Hmm.
Absolutely, because remember, we are trying to be holistically well. So
Yeah.
if you don't look at it from all angles, there's a possibility that one may drag the other one down.
Hmm.
So I've
1,000%.
been feeling unbalanced lately. What's going on, dear? I'm
Yeah.
good thing though. Think about this. She has realized that she's been feeling unbalanced lately.
Is identifying,
Yeah,
right? That's the thing. We're trying to figure it out, y'all.
yeah.
Yeah.
Some people do not know that they are feeling unbalanced. So, knowing that you're feeling unbalanced, you've identified that part, you can sit still and look at your life. Ask yourself,
Hmm.
where
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
balance lacking? From what angle?
Yeah. Absolutely. And
Hmm.
remember, your fingerprints are unique to you. So this is for you. So you figure out. I know we have what, one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, like 8 areas. And you
Yeah,
can have 6. That's okay. It's
that's okay.
saying, what do I value? Do I want to be? Are you more kind of like me at a 7 or 8? And that's your sweet spot. Are you more of a 10? Maybe like Mercer, do you want to get that 10? Like Michael, do you want to be at that 10 on maybe two things? And
Mm-hmm.
you're okay with it being over at 6. And you know that you're well in that way. No
Mm-hmm.
right or wrong. It's just being intentional to make sure that you're being honest,
Mm-hmm.
you're identifying, you're recognizing, and then you're creating the plan. So
Yeah.
I know we talked about those emotional. There's ways, financial wellness. If you want to bridge the gap, find an expert, talk to somebody, do a budget, right? There's
Mm-hmm.
a bunch of free webinars for Fidelity all the time. There's a bunch, your bank or any bank always has free webinars and resources for how to be better with finances. Are you looking at spiritual? Go take some time and Google. Look at different spiritual avenues. See what vibes with you, right? Talk to somebody who may be better in that area. Like we said earlier, that accountability and constructive criticism. Do you want to be more physical? Are you struggling with eating well? Because eating has everything to do with physical. You could be physical and take care of your body, but if you're eating McDonald's every day, it doesn't matter, right? So, do you need a trainer? Do you want to go to the gym? Do you want to see a dietitian? What are those are steps in order to reach those relational? Do you want to be more involved with people and have a better community? Look at those places, get out there, start talking to people. You can't sit in the house, and think that that's going to come to you. Do you want to be more environmental? Kind of like Mercy and I talked about, where we're looking at, doing a community event. Or as Michael said, hey, you see trash on the floor, pick it up, start a campaign, adopt a family. Do you want to be more recreational? Do you want to travel more? Do you want to try a new restaurant, right? What are the things that you're doing? So when you talk about how do we bridge the gap, those are all the ways to get there. And you have to find your spot in what works for you.
Absolutely. And I'm happy that you stressed that part. What works for you? It's your fingerprint.
Mm-hmm,
What works for you? Because
mm-hmm,
sometimes we want to be at a 10, but we have this goal. Let me give an
mm-hmm,
example. You are a full-time mom with little kids and you're in school full-time. I am sure
mm-hmm,
that somewhere along the line, and probably maybe you work weekends, maybe you work too. Somewhere along the
mm-hmm.
lines, recreationally, you may be unwell.
Yes.
Beat yourself about it. The journey, just go. You'll
Yep.
be at a better space when you achieve certain things to get the other side up. So some parts may be unwell. You
Mm-hmm.
should not be stressed about that.
Yep.
Think about the goal. Think about the plan. Remember, always
Yep.
identify it, evaluate it, make a plan, make a goal.
Yes.
I'm
Yep.
unwell with this now, and there's nothing I can do about it right now.
Yep.
But in the
Yep.
future, when I'm done with this, when I'm done with that, I would like to reconnect with some people. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, so it is a journey.
Mm-hmm.
It is a journey. Don't stop some of the goals that can be beneficial for you because you want to be well all around. Then,
Mm-hmm.
then you will still not be well when you stop those
Yeah.
goals. So, there
Exactly.
realize too that the wellness will, as round as it is, as holistic as we are pushing that holistic wellness, there will be moments where some aspects of that wellness will be very challenging.
Mm-hmm.
I am choosing recreational because I have been there where it's full-time job, it's full-time motherhood, it's full-time other things.
Mm-hmm.
That part was neglected, but I knew that I would catch up on it, and I am catching up on it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
catching up on it.
Yeah.
So don't
Yeah.
beat yourself too hard. As Vanessa say, I have to agree. I used to believe wellness was physical only. No, it
Yep.
is mental, emotional,
Yep.
spiritual. Yes. So
All
thank
those
you
things.
for your comments. We really
Yes.
enjoyed them.
Yes, we appreciate you all tuning in. We can't wait to see you again. Look out for our next podcast
Hmm.
about wellness, and who knows, you may be the next guest. So if you're interested in talking and being part of our wellness conversations, let us know. We'll definitely reach out.
Yeah. Thank you for
So we
sharing.
look forward to seeing you guys soon. Keep an
Yes.
eye out for all the stuff, great stuff we have going on. I'm going to do another plug because we know Mercy has her book. And if you haven't got it yet, Calmness in the Storm, I'm going to throw it out there because it's another shameless plug. But Merce is doing some great things. And if
Yes.
you, she doesn't have one on her right now, but go to her pages, you'll see
Yeah.
it. It's back there, it's everywhere. So go ahead and get it. And
Amazon.
we, yep,
It can
do
even
it.
help with your wellness will,
Absolutely.
helping you stay calm amidst
Hmm.
all life
Hmm.
difficulties, challenges going on. It can
Yes,
help definitely with your wellness well.
yes. So
Until
we will talk to you guys
then,
soon. Thank you for coming. Um, Alexander, get motivated. Great. Do it.
oh,
Do
Alex,
it. Do it. Do it.
yeah, do it.
Yes.
Do it. This is why
We're
we're
rooting for you.
checking up. You guys can check on us and we'll check on you. And we will check
Absolutely.
together with you. Thank
Woo!
you guys.
Talk to you soon.
Bye bye.
Bye.
And